Hi guys and welcome to my channel. My name is Jess and in today's video it's a part of my mini series which is the first time mum lessons, and we're going to be talking about sleep training. So I have created a playlist for all my other first time mum lessons, so please do check them out up here. I will put a link also down in the description below as well, so if you want to check those out then please feel free to. I make mummy related content of all sorts, so please do feel free to just browse my channel if you want to and see what you may like. And yeah, subscribe if it is something that you feel you want to be a part of. So I'm going to get into my 10 lessons which I have learned as a first time mum when it comes to sleep training. And the first thing that I'm going to mention is that for the first 3 months of baby's life, you really don't need to sleep train because their sleeping patterns are just so all over the place. A lot of the time, they are just sleeping anyway. So usually they say to sleep train from 4 months plus, which is what we did. So trying to sleep train when baby is, you know, before 4 months, there's just no point, guys, because it's just not gonna happen. It just realistically it's not gonna happen. But saying that, you can actually prepare your baby from day one, which in our case what we did was we got baby used to day and night. So in the daytime we will make sure that there was noise around, it was bright, and yeah, we didn't try and be quiet for baby when baby was asleep. And at night time we'd do the opposite, so it would be less noise and less light, and the whole point is to get baby used to day and night so that when baby is a bit older, baby doesn't think nighttime is day and daytime is night, because that will be an absolute nightmare and you don't want that and I didn't want that. So that's why we started early in preparing baby for the sleep training journey. So number 2, what we learned was to set a bedtime and a routine. Now, for me, I found that this was probably the most important thing to do because babies need routine, they need structure, and we started sleep training Olivia from when she was 4 months old. And to be honest, it was a trial and error in the beginning, but one thing that we discovered worked for us was to have a time window. Now, I will explain. Baby goes to sleep between a certain time frame. So the time frame that we set was for Olivia to be in bed between 6:30 and 7:30 every night. The reason why we did that was to be flexible, because when we first started, we were quite rigid. It was like, yes, baby had to be in bed at 6:30 sharp, and that was it. And it just does not work. That doesn't work one bit, not for us anyway. To this day, we still have the same routine, and it's just nice to have a bit of flexibility, isn't it? That's what I think anyway. So number 3 is probably the hardest part that I found with sleep training, and it is baby crying. Now, nobody likes to hear their baby cry. Your instinct is grab baby, pick them up, soothe them, and so forth. But when it comes to sleep training, you've got to do things a little bit differently, because we're basically training our baby how to sleep and self-soothe and so forth. So the crying was, for me, the most hardest part because it actually made me cry. Yeah, so for me, when she used to cry, it used to feel like such a long time. It was excruciating. It was so bad. So one of the things that I did do was I timed it for how long she would cry. Now, I would not leave Olivia crying for more than 5 minutes because that, for me, that was way, way too long. But one of the things that I did find, which was like a revelation, was that when I timed it, I actually realised, you know what, she's not even crying that long. And then by the time I knew it, she was asleep. So in effect, I was getting in the way of her self-soothing and getting herself to sleep. And I know that, like, sleep training topics and conversations is a bit of a taboo subject because some people have different ways of doing it. Some people don't like the crying out method and so forth. But this is how we did it and what we found worked for us. So by the way, just make sure you do what works for you. Okay, just take from what I say any bits that you like, and bits that you don't, just don't use. I'm not telling you to use any of our methods at all. So going back to the story, we would find that Olivia would cry for about a minute, just a minute, guys, and then she would be asleep. And it was like, oh, all that stress, you know? So if she would cry for more than 5 minutes, I would go into the bedroom, I would rub her back, and I would give her a kiss, and then I would leave the room again, and then I would time it a second time, and usually by the second or third time she would be asleep. Now obviously we made sure that we met baby's needs, so we made sure that she had a clean nappy and that she was full before she went to bed, so that there would be no particular reason apart from obviously her wanting to be comforted, and there is nothing wrong with that. You know, babies do need to be comforted, but during this time of training, this is what we did. So number 4 is to be consistent. Now consistent, that word is flung around so much, but it is actually true. Being consistent and sticking to what you do, sticking to your routine, it does actually help baby more than what you think, and it also keeps you sane. It's be consistent because it will help you in the long run. It helped me. Okay, so I kind of mentioned before, and this is number 5 by the way, and it's to not constantly pick up baby when you put them to bed. So like I said earlier, Olivia would cry and I would pick her up because I wanted to soothe her, and it made me cry and stuff like that, but it just started her off again, you know. So I would pick her up and then she would, you know, quieten down, and then I'd have to put her down again, and then she'll cry all over again, and it was just such a vicious circle. It's just not the best thing to do, that I found when I sleep trained Olivia. So I didn't pick her up. Like I shared, I just rubbed her back, gave her a kiss, and then I left the room, and that is what we did, just so that she knew that we were still here, and yeah, just so that she still felt secure. So number 6 is that babies have sleeping cues, and tell you what, they are not to be ignored. So baby sleeping cues, that means, like, you know, sleeping cues that they are tired. So when they rub their eyes or they're yawning, sometimes when they're overactive, like you're not used to them being so overactive, that could be a sign or a cue that they are overtired, and it is not to be ignored, guys, because my next point, which is number 7, is an overtired baby can turn into a monster. So number 7 is another lesson that I learned, is that when babies are overtired, or when Olivia was overtired, she would not go to sleep. Even though she was tired, we would put her down and she would cry for hours. She would just not go to sleep, or she would go to sleep and then she would wake up about 20 minutes later and she will scream and scream and scream. And that's what she would do throughout the night because she was so overtired, and that is something that we just do not do anymore. We make sure that if she yawns, if she's rubbing her eyes, if she's tired, we listen to her and we put her to bed. So number 8 is about nap time. So I believe from my experience is that nap times are just as important as putting baby to bed at night time. Like I was saying about an overtired baby, you really don't want that. Can you imagine your baby not sleeping throughout the whole day? That is just chaotic in my mind. That is not going to happen, and also it's a nice break for you too. For me. So nap times are just as important. With my routine of her going to bed, we do the same thing for nap times. So when babies are in the early stage, so from 4 months plus, they usually have about 3 naps a day, and then as they get a little bit older, it just reduces. So at the moment, Olivia is 11 months, she has 2 naps a day. Now these naps I think are healthy. They just need to sleep, okay? They need to sleep. That's what I've learned. Sleep is very important when it comes to babies. Okay, so number 9 is that babies go through sleeping phases. Some people call them like the sleep regression. So there are certain times in the baby's first year of life of sleep regression, and I think maybe older, but at the minute that's not what we're dealing with because Olivia is still under 1. And my experience is that usually around, I think it was the 4-month stage, possibly the 8, I'm not sure, I don't remember. But it happened. It doesn't last very long. It probably lasts about a couple of weeks, maybe even less than that. And then she just got back into a pattern. But even though they're going through these phases, still stick to your routine consistently, and yeah, it won't affect baby's sleep all yours, because your sleep is just as important. So number 10 is the reality of sleep training is that it is hard work. There is no getting out of it. It's hard work. I don't want to sugarcoat it because it can take a long time. I think the books and the advice that I got from health professionals was that it takes about, what, 1 or 2 weeks to sleep train a baby. Lies! For some maybe, but it took us about 3 to 4 weeks to sleep train Olivia. And I do wonder, maybe because it was me, I kept picking her up and stuff like that. But it was something that I had to learn for myself, and it is something that you'll probably have to learn because you want to do it your way. There is no right way of sleep training, but whichever way that you feel comfortable to sleep train your baby. Some people don't like the crying out method. I'm kind of 50-50. I won't let Olivia cry for too long, but I don't mind leaving her crying for a few minutes. You can take some of these tips if you want to and try them out, see if they work. And it's just, yeah, it's just me sharing my experience of sleep training my baby. And because I'm expecting my second, this is good for me to remember what I did with Olivia, because I know what I did with Olivia has worked, and I'm going to be doing it with my second baby as well. So one thing that I did also want to mention was that not all babies sleep through the night straight away. Olivia still wakes up in the night on occasions, but probably 4 out of 7 days in the week, Olivia sleeps through the night. So every baby is different, and you know, cater to your baby the best you know how, really. They're your babies, you know them best. And yeah, I think that's the end of the video now, guys, and I thank you so much for watching if you watched all the way to the end, and I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe and like and comment if you guys resonate to anything that I have shared, and maybe you can put down what you've done in terms of sleep training if you are a mum already. I would love to hear what you do as well. Anyway, guys, I love you lots, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.